Got Lon Phillips Sullivan on the line from LSU Odyssey, breaking down the Bayou Bengals here at Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Like, comment, share the videos on social media, subscribe, hit that bell for the notifications. That way you know when we're going live, which is each and every day at some point. All right. We know that LSU boasted one of the best offensive lines in the country in 2019. One of the better defensive lines in the country, certainly over the second half of the season. That's where it gets done, along the trenches. And LSU is getting a whole lot of good news concerning the NFL draft not affecting the team here in 2021.
Yes, Mark, the biggest indicator of LSU national champion, or at least big time contention, returning starters. LSU lose so much talent to the draft year in, year out. This will be the first year in quite some time where LSU aren't losing just one countless big name after another. It's fantastic. LSU will be returning 20 of 22 starters right now, and we're returning all 5 starting offensive linemen, 3 of our starting defensive linemen, 3 seniors, no less. Neil Farrell, Glenn Logan, Andre Anthony, all willing to go do another senior year. It's quite an interesting once in a lifetime opportunity, and they're taking it. And why not? They all could use their stock being raised, and I think they could all be NFL draft picks if they raise their stock adequately. But then you look at who is coming back in the trenches. Like, you got B.J. Ojolari next to those guys. You've got now 2021 Mason Smith coming in, Landon Jackson coming in, Savion Jones coming in. I mean, this is going to be an unbelievable defensive wrecking crew, Mark. You got Ali Gay as well out there. I'm very, very interested and intrigued by this defensive line. I think they are quite possibly the number 1 defensive line in America in 2021, undisputed, I believe. And I think that will be a force to be reckoned with in the SEC. We saw so many plays made by this defensive line, defensive touchdowns, fumbles, plays made by freshmen. I mean, Jaquelin Roy, who we haven't even talked about, he came out and had 2 sacks against Florida as a freshman from defensive tackle. That's a defensive tackle freshman having 2 sacks in a game against one of the biggest rivals in LSU's history, Florida. I mean, that's just incredible. And there's names after names after names. LSU's defense suffered big time in 2020, mostly because some of the best players for LSU were on the bench. Devontae Lee at linebacker, Josh White at linebacker. We never figured out if those guys had the qualities to make it out there. We did figure out that Micah Baskerville is a fantastic linebacker. He has definitely raised his game. I was very impressed by the growth in his game. I want to see Micah Baskerville a lot out there. Damone Clark, he had a bad year. He had a bad season. But at the same time, I think Damone Clark is talented enough. We could see him have a huge comeback season in 2021. Same with Cordell Flott. He has the talent to really pull it together at corner. But we just saw guys put in the worst positions out there with a ton of pre-snap confusion. That just comes all the way down to bad coaching, as well as Mark. And that's why Bo Pelini had to go. And that's why we're so excited, interested, frustrated by this defensive coordinator search, is because we want to find our guy. We want to find our identity. We know who we're looking for. We know what the philosophy we want. But every guy is different. Every coordinator is different. I don't think from here on out it's a letdown for LSU just because we wanted Marcus Freeman, just because Ryan Nielsen was literally going to be our defensive coordinator and then the contract didn't let him. I think from here LSU actually still has some really good options if they can get someone like Glenn Schulman in there. I think Glenn Schulman's a perfect young, innovative mind that would just mesh really well with this staff.
Got 9 early enrollees on campus out of 20 signed for the early signing period in December. We're looking forward to, of course, that first Wednesday of February where some of the top programs will reel in a couple more top guys for the 3rd-ranked class in the SEC, number 5 in the nation, according to the 247 Sports rankings. So what's going to get done between then and now?
hopefully the capture of Brian Thomas, receiver here local in Louisiana. I consider him the number one receiver in the country. I know, the rankings might not say that, might put him at number 4 or whatever like that. I think he's the number one overall receiver in the country. This guy's length, his strength, his durability, his yards after catch, his finishing ability in the end zone. This guy, he can take the hits over the middle, and then when he's taking, he just absorbs these hits. He's an absolute wrecking ball. I really, really like him as a receiver because he's tall and stringy, but at the same time he's strong over in the core. Really, really, really strong receiver. I really like his abilities, especially after LSU has lost JoJo Earl to Alabama. That's a big loss. Him decommitting from LSU and flipping to Alabama, that was a big hit. So, shoring up that wide receiving unit with Brian Thomas is a huge, huge must. Got to protect the home talent here with LSU. We got to protect the home talent. Coach Orgeron has constantly gotten the number one players out of Louisiana year in, year out in the last 4 or 5 years. So hopefully he can seal this guy in. But from there, Jordan Moko out of Snow College, that would be a fantastic get. Offensive tackle from Australia, former rugby player, really physical. I like this guy. I had an opportunity to see him. I did not take that opportunity due to the COVID-19 thing, but he is playing here in Utah locally, and I think he's in Australia right now. But he's a really, really good talent. Really interesting guy. I think once Tommy Moffitt's physical training gets him in there with the strength and conditioning, he could become an absolute beast. Um, there's a few other interesting targets, but LSU, they've got to finish this 2021 class strong because, especially with 2022 coming in, 2021, it's almost finished. It's almost there. We just got to pull it over the line.
All right, Lon. Always appreciate the contribution. Always stay in touch because anytime there's LSU breaking news, we want you on here to give us some insight.
Hey, we'll do what we can, my man.